प्रॉब्लम ढूंढी, उस पर काम किया, डिलीवर किया. टिल देन इट इज़ ऑल वर्क वर्क वर्क. बट एट द एंड जब आपका वर्क एंड यूज़र फेस करता है कि अरे वाह ये तो बहुत ईजी है यूज़ करने को, एंड दे आर डिलाइटेड, ओके वाओ, दैट वाओ फैक्टर विच कम्स फ्रॉम द एंड यूज़र, दैट सेटिस्फैक्शन, that is the most delightful part, like a designer's profession. So I didn't had a portfolio for a very long time, and I was like overconfident कि बिना portfolio के काम हो जाएगा. Hi, I am Siddharth Dhadkar, and I am senior UX designer in Globant right now. I am from Indore. And I did my graduation in electronics, but currently I'm working as a UX designer. So first of all, like before jumping into what exactly I do in my day-to-day job as a senior UX designer, when I started, I myself had this question, like what exactly I will have to do as a experienced designer. So design in general basically is about figuring out what the problem is and then finding out the solution and presenting the solution to the people who can implement them exactly. So as a senior UX designer currently in Globant, what my usually responsibilities are, I get a problem statement that this is what we have to solve. Then we go behind that problem statement, basically what is the origin of it. And after covering and doing proper research using the user research methods, we conclude on one particular problem, like basically a definition stage after the research. And when everything is defined, then we freeze it and then we ideate on it. So my job is to first research on the problems, define what exactly the problem is, then do ideation on it, like bringing out brainstorming with my colleagues, what can be the possible solutions, prioritizing those solutions, and then creating a prototype out of them, then testing with the end users, and when everything matches perfectly, then hand it over to the development team to implement it. Ideally, it is a 9-to-5 job when you have to like open your laptop and when you close it down. But even before and after that, you are still thinking about the problems that you are currently working on, the solutions you are like, anywhere you go, even if you are on a vacation, and if you are a mindful designer who is all the time who is observing the circumstances and the problems around you, anything can inspire a solution. Like there is one example, I was working on a problem, basically any requirement is a problem, just to clarify. It's not like there are so many problems in the life, but problem statements basically for which we have to design the solutions. So of course it is like you have some specific timelines, like 9-to-5 you have to work on it. But at the same time, when even if you close the lid of your laptop, your brain will still be thinking about it. And anytime, sometimes it happens like at midnight, I came across some idea, I quickly go to my whiteboard, I start drawing those ideas out, and in the next morning, I will start creating them in the tools that I use. If you are going through the formal path, apne college join kiya, design ka, then they will anyway teach you what all things are needed. Like design principles, all the laws, all the concepts, everything, along with the tools that you will need to implement those ideas and various processes. But if you are going through the other way, which I took, like self-made designer, self-taught designer, so in that one, you have to be more, you can say, dedicated to it, because there is no one pushing you. You are the only one who is pushing you, like you go and do it. So the skills which are required basically are, first of all, the formal education says like you should know all the design principles. You should know what all processes are there in design. Ideation, how do you ideate on the problems, how to approach a problem, and then finally delivering them. You should know some certain tools what you are working on. Currently, like there can be Adobe XD, Adobe tools are there, then Figma is there recently, Sketch. So these are the overall aspects, but what I understood from my own journey, like what is very much important is the observational skills. How mindfully you observe whatever the problem is in front of you and the environment around you also. Like you should be a very open-minded person, first of all. And one of the things that usually I have seen in a lot of tutorials that traveling is very good for designers. But it is not just traveling for clicking photographs. It should be a mindful, like whenever you are going through, even through a street, like how I used to behave whenever I was going like every day, almost most of the time I was thinking about design. You should be so dissolved into it कि अब जैसे आप जा रहे हो रास्ते में तो किसी बोर्ड का आपको फॉन्ट बहुत अच्छा लगेगा कि ओके दिस पर्सन हैज यूज्ड वेरी क्रिएटिव फॉन्ट स्टाइल, किसी ने लोगो बहुत अच्छा बनाया है, किसी ने नाम इतने अच्छे से सोचा है, वो कॉपी जो थी दैट कॉपी राइटिंग स्किल्स. सो ये सब चीज़ें जो इतना आप अलग अलग ऑब्जर्वेशंस करते हो, दैट इज़ वन ऑफ द की स्किल्स विच इज़ नीडेड, ऑब्जर्वेशनल स्किल्स. अलॉन्ग विथ इट यू शुड ऑल्सो नो हाउ टू कम्युनिकेट योर अंडरस्टैंडिंग. आपने ऑब्जर्व कर लिया, आइडिएट कर लिया, एंड यू हैव ऑल्सो क्रिएटेड अ प्रोटोटाइप, but still you should be very much aware or very much proficient in communicating those ideas, because at times I have seen very good designers who have like brilliant ideas, but if they cannot communicate their ideas to the client, then it goes off the table. And some other aspects, like you should understand the economics of a project. कहाँ पे कौन सी डिज़ाइन में बना रहा हूँ तो उसे कितने कहाँ इम्पैक्ट होगा, उसकी कॉस्टिंग कितनी होगी. सो एक रास्ता तो है कि जस्ट द डिज़ाइन पार्ट ऑफ इट, कि बस प्रॉब्लम आया, मैंने सोचा, आइडिएशन किया, प्रोटोटाइप बनाया, डिलीवर किया. बट उसके बाद भी वो आपका आइडिया प्रोटोटाइप डिस्कार्ड हो सकता है. दैट्स व्हाई यू नीड टू नो द अदर एस्पेक्ट्स ऑफ ओवरऑल प्रोजेक्ट, जो होलिस्टिक व्यू ऑफ द होल एप्लीकेशन. सो दैट व्यू पॉइंट, ऑब्जर्वेशंस एंड माइंडफुलनेस, these are some other aspects of the skills along with the formal ones that you anyway you can learn by going through the tutorials. So in any of these fields, like either you are a graphic designer or a visual designer or UX designer, when you enter as a fresher, usually your designation is either a UX designer or a junior UX designer. At that time, the focus of the seniors will be more on mentoring you, because what we learn in the colleges or in the formal system, the real world applications, or when you actually land into the actual projects, things are pretty different. So you will get mentored at that stage, basically how you should proceed with different problems. Next comes senior UX designer role. So even in senior UX designer, there are different designations. Like in Globant, there are senior, semi-senior, senior advanced. So that is one segment of senior UX designer. Then you move on to product designer. So at that stage, even like that basically is overlapped with senior UX designer profile itself. So in product design, you have basically the ownership of the whole project or whole product. For example, अगर मैं एक food delivery app design करना चाहता हूँ and I have a team set up for it, there will be junior designers and senior designers. So when you move from a junior designer role to senior, like I just mentioned in one of the statements, कि आपको पूरी ownership लेनी पड़ती है एक project की और एक पूरे product की. So that is a senior UX designer. Then you move ahead, then there are various different names. So basically, whatever general designations we have, like you have solution architect in development, same we have UX architect over here. जो थोड़ा और ऊपर से like on a larger scale, they will design the whole processes, what tools we will be using, what processes we will be going to follow. Those things are there. And then you may, at the end, you may become a design director or associate design director. So that is like a very high stage where you are owning the design aspect for the whole organization. Most of its part goes into management, like allocating resources, the designers who are there already in the organization, which designer would fit into which part, which problem solving segment of that project, and so on. Like when my end user is delighted or is that problem is solved, when I see, so I will just give you the roadmap. When whatever processes I have told till now, problem ढूंढी, उस पे काम किया, deliver किया, till then it is all work. But at the end, जब आपका work end user face करता है and he is delighted to use this application, कोई आपने एक interface बनाया है and is very happy with it, कि अरे वाह ये तो बहुत easy है use करने को. And if suppose that product was already in use, or suddenly you give them the new design and they are delighted, okay, wow, that wow factor which comes from the end user, that satisfaction, that is the most delightful part of the like a designer's profession. So see, it varies from company to company, but some of the companies, some startups or some design studios, they may pay you based upon the value that you are generating. Though they will test you first for a few weeks. So first of all, a range part. A general junior UX designer who is just graduated from college, he can expect anywhere between 5.56 LPA to 10, 12 or at least up to 14 LPA. That is a general range. बट इस रेंज में भी कुछ कंपनीज रहेंगी जिनके कुछ स्टैंडर्ड वो स्लॉट्स रहते हैं. स्लॉट इन द सेंस कि फ्रॉम 6 to 8 अ जूनियर यूएक्स डिजाइनर, दिस इज द डेजिग्नेशन, इतना ही आपको मिलेगा. इफ यू आर अ सीनियर यूएक्स डिजाइनर, then maybe from 16 to 22 or 24 एक ये range है, इतना ही आपको मिलेगा irrespective of the value that you are generating. So these are the two differences between the different organizations that could happen. Take one decision and stick to it. Because in my case I was fluctuating, like ये करूँ नहीं करूँ. When you are like, you have basically, the problem with me wasn't like I didn't knew what I wanted to do. The problem was I had 3-4 things which I wanted to do and I had to select one of them. So हर बार किसी एक रास्ते पे आगे बढ़ो और फिर वापस पीछे आ जाओ कुछ problems आते से. So when I took this, which actually worked for me, when I took this decision to go into this design field, so that was a very firm decision, and I took, like, irrespective of what is going to happen, maybe I will be fired in the very next month, even if that happens, I will not going to step down from this decision. So वो firmness बहुत ज़रूरी है if you are really dedicated to that field. So if a suggestion which because of which I delayed my migration by almost 2 years, like migrating to the design field, was this, like I was not very sure should I do it or should I not. आपका portfolio कैसा होना चाहिए? Like portfolio is a very important aspect of any designer's career. So I didn't had a portfolio for a very long time and I was like overconfident कि बिना portfolio के काम हो जाएगा. But वहाँ पे भी मुझे कुछ challenges face करने पड़े because see, if anyone is going to pay you, he first needs to know कि आपने किया क्या है अभी तक. And unlike other fields, like in coding, they can give you a problem and you can code right away and show them that this is the output. In design हो सकता है आपने किसी और से बना के वो screen present कर दी हो. But if you have created by yourself, you will know every minute detail of it. कैसे आप यहाँ तक पहुँचे, कैसे आपने किया. So a lot of people, they miss out on this process part. Like I am also part of the recruitment team. So we have a standard guidelines कि आपको ये process, ये चीज़ों पे ध्यान देना है.